So in this video, we're going to look at how you add a chart. You insert a chart to Excel to present data. So a chart is Excel's name of a graph. So I've still just got the data in my first set of results. We'll work with this one entirely at the moment. If I click on the Insert tab, you can see that there's various types of graph or charts, as it calls them, that appear over here. Now, Excel can try to plot the right type of graph for you by guessing. What I tend to find is whenever I try and get it to guess the graph I want, it doesn't get the right one. So the system I tend to use is to make sure I input everything manually. If you want it to have a guess, the way you do it is by highlighting the two columns of data that you wanted to plot a graph of. So let's say I wanted to plot a graph of time on the x-axis against height on the y-axis. I might highlight those two columns. Now, the types of chart available, lots of them are useful for presenting data, but are not the type of chart that we want in physics. The one that we always want is this thing that's called an XY scatter chart. So that is in one variable goes on the x-axis, one variable goes on the y-axis, and data points are plotted as dots between the two axes. That's always what we use in physics. We never really get into other types of chart. So it's always that one we want to use. If I press Insert Scatter, it's actually got it the right way around immediately for me this time. I can see I've got the values from my time axis going on the x-axis and the values from my y-axis going on the height axis. As I say, that's worked fine that time. As a general rule, I think it's not the best plan to assume it'll work out what you want. So let's imagine I wanted height on the x-axis and time on the y-axis. I'd need to know how to correct that. So I think the easiest way is to not make it guess and to do the work yourself. It doesn't take long. So I'm going to click on a completely empty cell. It doesn't matter which one I pick, and go to this same thing, Insert a Chart. And what it brings up is this blank window. It almost looks like something's gone wrong, but this hasn't. This is the chart window. It just doesn't know what data you want to put on it. If I right click on that chart, I can go to Select Data. And this Select Data menu comes up. On the left, it says Legend Entries Series. So a series is a set of data that you want presented together on your chart. The legend is sort of the name of the series. So this is to add a set of data points to your graph. This one we'll leave for now. We don't need to worry about it. So we want to add a series. So we can put the series name, the X values and the Y values. It always defaults to having this thing written in the Y values, the Y values box. And I don't really know why, but that's always there. It's always got equals curly brackets 1. So you need to be a bit careful when you fill that in. The series name, well, this is going to be data for repeat 1. We'll talk about why that's not necessarily a sensible thing to put in a minute. The X values, well, I want to reference this set of cells here. Again, I can do it in lots of different ways. I can put in the cell references. So it goes from C3 down to C12. Oh, there's an error. Okay, so I have to tell it which sheet I want it in as well. So in fact, the easiest way to do it is to use the select arrows. So I'm going to click on there, and when I do that, you can see it's told that actually it's in sheet 1, and it's got those references. It also puts the $signs in because it's likely to save problems later on. The Y values I want are the height values here. And as soon as I do that, you can see the charts appeared behind. Quite often I find that entering those in makes this window bizarrely long. So you have to scroll all the way across, but eventually you'll find the OK button. That's appeared. So it's called Repeat 1. And it was the first time I did it. And it's put those values in. It's now got these axis labels listed. And we've got a chart appearing on our screen here.